Joining us now is Jared Bernstein. He is the chair of the President's Council of Economic Advisors. And Jared, let's talk about this. We have a deal that nobody really expected we'd see. So we made it through this weekend. But what happens in the next 45 days?
Well, first of all, good to see you, Becky. This is good news for the American people in the sense that an unnecessary crisis that would have inflicted pretty deep and wholly unnecessary pain on millions of Americans has been averted. That's good news for over 1 million active duty troops, for over 7 million women and kids who risked lacking nutritional support, for travelers because of the reauthorization in this bill of the FAA, and disaster relief that was also in this continuing resolution. But it did not have to happen. I think what you just played from the president is, of course, exactly right. He shook hands. He had a deal. In fact, there was a law passed with McCarthy back in June, in early June, at the end of the debt ceiling debate, that was designed specifically to avoid this. Senate Republicans, Senate Democrats, over 100 Republicans in the House, and of course, House Democrats all supported this CR well before the crisis that occurred this weekend. So completely unnecessary. And if we really need to learn a lesson, exactly as the president just said, to avoid this in the future, to answer your question.
Peter Orszag, who is the former OMB head and the former Congressional Budget Office director under President Obama, as you know, was with us earlier this morning. He said he thought this was a bold move by McCarthy to kind of say, no, forget it, to a contingency of his party that has been pushing for more. He thinks perhaps there's a way to get not necessarily bipartisan, but cooperative agreements that go back and forth. Do you think that the House Democrats are going to be able to work and support with McCarthy and the Republicans? How do you see this playing out?
Well, first of all, let's look at the numbers that underpin that question and what Peter was saying. So for the continuing resolution, 209 Democrats in the House voted for it, 126 Republicans. So there were 83 more Democrats who got this bill over the line than Republicans. And of course, you had 90 Republicans voting no. So, you know, those numbers kind of speak for themselves. And we've been here before. And again, completely predictable. We've seen this rodeo way too many times. The numbers aren't there for an extreme minority against a large majority that actually has continuously, at the last minute, gotten together and overwhelmingly passed bipartisan agreements, whether it was the Fiscal Responsibility Act ending the debt ceiling or the continuing resolution this weekend. By the way, I might as well also take you back to the CHIPS Act.
You know what, Jared? Let's just cut to the chase on this for anybody
to the bipartisan infrastructure law. Bipartisan agreements.
The reason that McCarthy did this is because, and didn't do it in the past, is because he thought he was going to lose his job if he didn't do this. Will Democrats now support him in this job, or are they going to let him flounder? And if that's the case, who comes next?
Well, I'm certainly not going to. I'm certainly not going to speculate about a political outcome. You know, when Joe Biden was asked about that yesterday, he correctly said that's up to the House to figure out how they're going to vote this. But you know, I think the numbers speak for themselves. And the point I was trying to make is that we tend to think we live in such a partisan era that nothing can be accomplished. Well, in fact, after a long and unnecessary conflict here, at the last minute, this CR was accomplished. By the way, it's far from complete. The president said yesterday, we cannot under any circumstances allow American support for Ukraine to be interrupted. You've just heard Bill Ackman say the same thing. And again, you've got Speaker McCarthy, you've got Minority Leader McConnell in the Senate, and of course, Democrats all supportive of that. So that has to happen next.
Will support at the border, at our border, be part of that too? I mean, those seem like the two issues that stand out: Ukrainian support funding, but also what happens at the U.S. border.
We'll have to see about that. I mean, the point that I'm making about Ukraine is that it's similar to the CR in the fact that you've got very large majority, including every leader up there, both in the House and Senate, supporting the funding for Ukraine. And, you know, critically, you've got a murderous regime that is actively, doing what they're doing in Ukraine. And it's clear we have to support that funding. Again, a widely shared view in Congress, and we can't let a small group of extreme Republicans block this critically important geopolitical investment in not just national security, not just security for Ukraine, but for all free nations.
We've been watching the yields in treasuries this morning, and they've picked back up after a little bit of a relief. People are saying that's because, look, there's still a lot that has to get hashed out. It sounds like you share that same concern.
Well, I think probably, if anyone expected a relief rally this morning, I can't imagine they're going to see much of it, in the sense that the view was that this would either be resolved in a few weeks or not happen at all. So, I think we are where we are in terms of that. I think that the interest rates reflecting a lot of the dynamics that you were talking about with Bill. I mean, we have what he called a solid economy. We still have strong consumers. We still have a very tight labor market, and that's driving growth rates that are estimated to be quite significant in the third quarter. So we like the solid momentum we have. We like the fact that we're have wages, real wages rising and prices coming down. So all those dynamics look strong to me, and interest rates reflect much of what is going on there.
I'm sure you saw Axios over the weekend. They had a sneak peek where they called it the Bidenomics blunder, just saying that tying the president to the economy maybe wasn't the best idea when so many Americans don't feel like they have gotten ahead, and so many of them are now saying they feel better with Republicans in terms of the economy than Democrats at this point. A lot of that's inflation, people having to try and keep up, even though wages may be going up at this point, trying to keep up with some pretty high inflation numbers over the last several years. What do you say to that, Jared?
Well, we think Bidenomics is clearly working, and it's not just about the here and now, although it's about that too. So let's start with where we are right now. Again, we have real wage gains over the past few months, and that consistently supports strong consumer spending, which is leading to GDP growth estimates that are way above trend for Q3 that I'm sure you've seen. If you have a healthy consumer and a 70% consumer spending economy, that's going to get a lot done. That's the here and now. We have wages rising. We have prices coming down. The headlines down by about half in the PCE, down by more than half in the CPI. And we've seen core inflation at a 3-month annualized rate close to 2%, the Fed's target. So we really like the progress there. But Bidenomics is, of course, also about the longer term, the deep investments in the future, in clean energy production on our soil, domestic, in electric vehicles and electric batteries, domestic, here on our soil. And we are pulling in private capital at a breakneck pace. So the idea that Bidenomics isn't working is completely belied by statistics about where we are now and where we're headed in the future.